1, 2, 3. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Even numbers. 5,
Our guest today is Ernest Frazier, who has lived in this area for about 10 years and is currently having a show on at the center called Art Awareness Now. Ernie?
Yes. Okay. Frankly, I'm surprised to be here, and I'm even more surprised that you're here. But, I mean, this is not, I've never had any desire to speak or stand in front of any large, I've never had any desire to speak in front of any large group or semi-large group of people, or stand in front of them or perform in front of them or anything like that. So this is going to be interesting.
Your debut.
I beg your pardon?
Your debut.
Yeah, my debut, yeah. Okay, so now that you know that I'm bashful and all that shit, let's, there's a considerable number of slides here this afternoon, and I suspect that, I don't know what the tray holds, 100 and something. I think there is certainly some of my finest work, or work that I've really felt, how do you say, great about, not implying great work, never was photographed, and but the works, I'm speaking about works which were sold, and they're in good hands, certainly. I imagine at some point I'll take time to photograph them. So there is a great deal which I would have liked to have shown you this afternoon, but they just aren't available. And I haven't been very, how do you say, diligent about keeping abreast or keeping a photo document of my work. It's rather slap hazard like me. 1 second, I want to get my clock because I understand we only have an hour. And this time of the day, 1 second. This time of the day is not the most intellectually inspiring time of the day. No, that's okay. I'd rather do it myself. I have to have some bearing. I think that what I should do probably is tell you...
I'm sorry, Ernie, but they can't hear it in the back. I don't know why.
I think I should tell you, I think perhaps it's 12:15, this is an hour. I think I should, the slides should go relatively well. I would like to take the opportunity to tell you something about me, and if you're really shrewd and sharp, that would help me a great deal. I was born on September 4th, 1942, in a place outside of Sumter, South Carolina, called Du Bois Crossroads. And what that was, that I found out, is an enclave of 2-story wooden structures. Of Franciscan nuns and brothers. And evidently, my grandmother, who's still alive and lives in Baltimore, she as a young woman did a lot of work for them. And they knew that, certainly, that my grandmother had a daughter, and that subsequently the daughter had me. So I had a chance to see that situation, this place called Du Bois Crossroads, when I was about 9 or 10 years old. The only reason I believe, I guess the first big break in my life, is the fact that shortly after I was born, my father was scheduled to go to Europe for the Second World War. And he had a six-month delay en route from New York. And so my mother, being a heads-up woman, she she chose not to stay in Sumter, South Carolina, but to naturally go to New York. So I landed in New York. When I was 13 or 14, I realized only perhaps 6 months ago, a very important item in trying to unravel what I find to be what I often find to be a sort of, or rather what's been a dilemma for me, which I'm finally working my way out of. There was a comic book about a little Indian boy, and this little Indian boy, right? And he had one big feather, one big black feather out of his headband. He was a cute little kid, you know. And I realized now that, and I used to always draw this, I used to buy the comic book, you know, and just to continually draw this little boy with his, you know, with his big feather, this big black feather. And I recall now, about a month or two ago, or certainly not very long ago, how much I enjoyed drawing that feather. And the feather had a feathers are seldom, how do you say, fully rounded or fully. It had a, for graphic reasons, I'm not sure what the artist had in mind, but certainly for graphic reasons, there was a cutout where the feather, whatever. And I realized I used to love to draw this little Indian boy. What I loved to draw even more was that damn feather. So, I mean, graphics, huh? Anyway, I wanted to be a baseball player, but I was certainly too small to be a baseball player. I couldn't remember that. And the arts thing came on very strong once I got into art school. I enrolled in school of visual arts when I was 19. And the first year was considered foundation year. And it's very much a foundation year where you do a bit of everything. The second year, I realized that I was unable to continue because I didn't have the money. The biggest impression that School of Visual Arts made on me at that time was that it was a very small school, and a very small school, a very cozy school. It didn't have a large student body. The student body that they had were all veterans, and they were just beginning to have younger students from high school. And of course, they were very serious artists, and they had very serious looks on their faces. And they were doing what seemed to be, to me, very exciting and unusual stuff. The following year, I realized that I had to do something to make money to continue my education. So I decided that I would go into the service. I went into the Air Force, and that's a very unusual and strange story. And I certainly don't have time to relate it. From the time I went to the service until the time I got out. In the service, I was in the Air Force, I was a truck driver. I worked from 8 o'clock until 4:30 or 5 or whatever. There was certainly a lot of extra work duties. But I did have an opportunity to make a great deal of art. And I was in a place called the Motor Pool, and there was lots of stuff around the Motor Pool, like rear ends of automobiles and drive shafts and all kinds of stuff. So I did a lot of giant sculpture, and a lot of people thought I was very crazy. Then I was doing stuff in my room. I had a room with another guy, and I did these very large crayon things. Or I would get canvas tarps from the trucks, sew them up, wash them down with soap and water, because there's a place there. Everything I needed was there. Let them dry in the sun. And sorry I don't have at least one photo of one of those. They were usually very large, very painstaking. But what happened when you put the crayon on this dark canvas, which was oiled by weather and use, the crayon would glow, you see. So they were very like glowing worms, if you can imagine such a thing. Well, okay, I did monoprints, and we had a old band that I used to do monoprints in. And in the meantime, I had met friends, civilians in Germany who were artists and had a lot of very strong art-related interests. I had a lot of things going for me. By the time I was court-martialed, which you know, which is not as bad as it sounded. It was actually a funny kind of break. And I wanted to stay in Europe, certainly. I had no reason to return to the United States, not that I could see. And so I was shipped back to New York City. I did study in Germany for 3.5 years, mostly drawing, some painting, and stuff like that. And it was pretty academic, pretty stiff stuff. Some of those drawings I still have, for example. The paintings, they didn't ship any of my paintings over. While I was in Europe for that period of time, I painted in Germany, drew in Italy, and even painted in oil in Paris. I mean, how classic and how mythic. So I came back to New York City, and I gathered together a portfolio, and I got a scholarship. And so I worked out on a scholarship in November before Christmas, right? A scholarship School of Visual Arts. This was spring. I got the scholarship late spring. I walked out of school. I worked out on a scholarship in November of '63. I really regret that. I mean, I think no matter, one should stay in school as long as one is able. I mean, but anyway, I walked out of school, took the studio, Lower East Side, Hester Street, top floor, 5th floor, 3-room flat. It was perfect. Took my job and whatnot. Went back to school to study film, '67, I believe. And I think the reason I went back to study film and photography was, I think that's an important aspect of what I understand now to be my sense of humanism. I certainly had my bout with representation, so-called figure painting and realism in school, because that was mandatory through the first year, and you were required to have such courses, at least one for the second and third year. I became very interested in photography because photography gave you people as they look. Okay. So I'm not talking about people as such. I'm actually talking about humanity. That's really what I'm speaking about. I could never consider. That's why the idea of to think about something figurative, you would have to make it something that humanity can relate to. So obviously, I'm already a point beyond aesthetics. That was very important. I really wanted to relate to people. I really wanted to see people. I really wanted to use my creative energies on behalf of people. And like most photographers, trying to record people in situations. I was very much a street photographer, and I was very good at it. Film, I realized that I started studying film for one reason, because I was very interested in João Godard. And at the time, Brazilian cinema was very hot, very political, very expressive. Mythic storyline, I hope it was all there. My friends who thought I had betrayed the whole bit about being an artist meaning painting canvas, pretty much, began to make a big impression on me through the kind of things that they were doing. And they said I should stop this bit with film and photography. And of course they were right. I mean, film, anyone can do photography, but film is strictly a medium for white boys with lots of money. So I got back to painting. There's a lot of, 68, 69 was a very interesting period because, for the first time, younger black artists, Wayne T. Williams, myself, Algernon, Osby, Gerald, we wanted a shot at some of this action, okay? 68, 69 was the beginnings of, was the raw beginnings of what became known as field painting. And we're all familiar with that. Some of you care for it, some of you don't. And certainly there was a lot of great stuff done with that aesthetic. We, as a group, we not only wanted some galleries, some museum time, some press. We wanted the right to paint out of our own sense of past. You know, we wanted to be able to draw from our own aesthetics, which was basically, you know, an African kind of sensibility or third world kind of thing. we ran smack dab into an the older black artists, people like Ruben Bearden and Jacob Lawrence, and what we understood was that they simply wanted to control how things were going to go down. That was our final understanding. And we decided that we would simply turn our backs on them and continue the kind of efforts that we were about to secure more press time, gallery space, museum space, etc. So we were very much involved with, at that period, 68, 69, 70, with quote-unquote black art. And did a lot of studying of religion, because there was a quest, we were not willing to believe that history as it was presented to us at that moment was how do you say, a full and honest presentation of what could possibly what could possibly be. I mean, it just didn't make sense to us. So we did a lot of investigation. And when you study religion, you have to study, when you study history, if you don't study religion, you're way off way off base. And so anyway, yeah. 71, I went back to Europe because I had a tremendous amount of support in Europe. It's very fine people. And it's taken me 10 years to muster similar support here in this country. I went back to Europe to get, I had the possibility of an exhibition in 3 places. One was a museum, one was a schloss, a one-story schloss, 2-story in the front, very large roof. It must have been an army barracks or something at one time with a stone floor, very beautiful, yellow, ochre. Came back to New York. A week later, we saw an ad in the Village Voice which said, "Artists own your own home and studio in the country." Well, that was a cute trick. So we came up, we saw it, and we bought it. And so that was end of Europe. I lost a lot of time. Well, I spent 4 years, 5 years, whatever, making the place habitable, you know, keeping the cold out and keeping the heat and stuff like that. So we're going to pick up my work slightly before 76. 72, 73, 74, I did a lot of drawings. There were a few here, and I did a lot of pastels, and there were only 2 here. But that's pretty much where we're going to pick up the slides. Okay, this is a 8-foot round canvas, which it's acrylic on canvas cotton duck. There's no ground, so obviously apparently there's a great deal of masking and simply filling in with colors. But it certainly wasn't easy as all that. If you don't believe me, try it. This is called, okay, we're trying to capitalize on certain mythological points of view or certain, which often becomes like even philosophical points of view, in case of Jung, for example. What's happening here is what I thought this was. The yellow streak probably is nothing more than a beacon. Okay, we all know what a beacon is, and a beacon might be anything. It might be for ships or anything else. So, lodged in the center is what I felt to be a soul motor. You know? And this is how, very simplistic idea of how the world, how the universe might work. Okay. And certainly design is very important. There's a thing called fracture here, where nothing really, you sense that this is actually, that the canvas is a revolving kind of disc, where if you revolved it, different colors would come up, different shapes, different kind of relationships. And so, well, certainly for that, it's very successful. This is one of the worst of the bunch. I really don't care for it, but I didn't mind showing it to you because there were 6 more of these large round paintings, varied in scale from 7 feet to 8 feet.
When were these?
These were, yeah, these were 69, 70, for sure. This, I felt, we were very much into, how do you say, the spirit of the world, the spirit of living things, and all of which at some point begins to denote kind of poetry. You know? And so this, launching in the center of this work is a space, a very black space. And it isn't meant to be tantric, but that's, you know, you'll find at different points when you survey certain African arts, you'll find a kind of crossover of certain situations, design situations, text situations. And this is one of my favorites. It's quite simple and very effective. This is a more sophisticated idea based upon a previous work. The black center is actually retractable. I mean, it's removable. You might take it out, and the parameter, it's 9 feet. The parameter could remain, or you could insert the center back in. Acrylic on constructed canvas. The red dots, they appear to be dots, were made with a wine cork, and that had the correct feeling. You know, it wasn't too complete. It never completely made a whole dot. You know. This, the painting to the left, equal in size to the one on the right, was again an offshoot of the original idea, you know, the cosmic motor, cosmic generating energies, etc. You know, very much the same colors, you know, and it's almost circus-like, you know, and it's interesting. It's like a flying disc. That's potentially dangerous.
You said these are 8 feet.
In diameter.
And the diagonal was 9.
The diagonal was 9, yeah. This, by the way, was a very charming loft I had just on the edge of Chinatown, and I did a lot of work. Art Schweiger and his family had this loft before I did, and the landlord told me that I was not allowed to live in this landlord. But the people who worked in the factory down the street, down the hall, said that Art Schweiger had his wife, his kids, his dogs, his cats, and everything else in there. It's funny. This one is one of my big dumb paintings. I did 3 of these, and this was the only one that was the only one that you see. I was very pleased with the overall design. Is not. It was impossible. It certainly is possible to lay out a design for some such structure, and I laid one out, and I'd be damned if I was able to follow it. And I remember getting down to the last 1 or 2 spaces, and I really was in a color. I had a dilemma with the color. I mean, there wasn't many choices, but I got out of it. And you know, this is based on an idea that there are little African hand sculptures, which are basically ceremonial, and that what one might do is grab it. You see, grab it in the center, and then, you know, so as shaped as is up top. Well, okay, that was too much symmetry for me, so naturally I made the cutout where the hands might go one square up, and the cutout to the left is 1 square. I think as far as this type of thing goes, the color worked out okay. It was really a lot of fun. Okay, yeah, I did have large fat notebooks for a lot of different things. Wall hangings, all kinds of stuff. And damn it, I believe, I don't know what happened to that. But this is one of the few works on paper that I had from this period. There were lots more, and I don't know, I can't find them. And I think there was another one photographed, but I can't find it. Okay, that's a single shot of that flying disc deal.
Ernie, one of these is in the Whitney. Which one is
This
it?
one is in the Whitney. This is called Ra Solar. Ra, Egyptian god Ra, Solar. It's very easy. This painting, I believe, has 12 different colors in it, and tones, colors. Some colors, some tones, and it's again 8 feet in diameter. There were 3 or 4 more of these, and smaller ones, and I gave them to people, which I should have done. I'm still too generous, but I'm learning to deal with that. And I feel very good about this painting. It was almost like storytelling, and it's rich in color, form, and movement. And again, it's just a matter of this painting, unlike the large 6x10 painting, you couldn't plot this out on a piece of paper. I'm not very good at that anyway. But this painting was felt item by item, color by color, just like any other quote painting. It's acrylic on cotton duck. Okay, this is the Whitney Museum, right? And that's my Ross alarm behind that lady's turban. The sculpture to the left is by Algernon Miller. It's made of woods. He has a very elaborate painting process. The piece on the right was done by Ellsworth Orsby, who's a fantastic, at one point he was an incredible representation artist, but anyway. Algernon's piece and Ross and I look very good together. So you see that, okay. So you see that my school buddies, we did a lot of hanging out together, and we inspired each other. And so we had several ideas, and we had several requests. And I think it was very nice that the 3 of us was in this particular show, and we were allowed to exhibit in a corner all to ourselves. Yeah. Okay, that's that 71. This was a show at the Whitney Museum called Black Artists, and it was a very riotous and very disarming introduction written by Robert Doty, who is now, I believe, working at the Chicago Museum. Very good man, very good man. Okay, I had come back from Europe, bought a house in Saugerties, and I'm starting from scratch again. Apparently something has changed, and this is not as such, the object of a drawing like this certainly isn't militant, black militant kind of, kind of things. This is a small drawing, and I love it very much. I'm surprised. There were a few of these, and they were, I don't know, I guess I was just dreaming or whatever. That one's very faint, and it's sort of the same kind of indescribable feeling that the first one was.
When are these?
These were 70, 72, 74, I'm sorry. 74. I can't verbatim the dates anymore. But I like these very much because I kept them, so I like them. This is, again, this rather long period of works on paper, drawings on paper. There were many pastels in this period also, but most of them were ruined, and I'm surprised I have two to show you today. This is done with pencil, and it's very surrealistic actually. It's kind of pulsating. That's 2030, I guess. This one's a bit stronger in its graphic sense. These shapes are just more or less there, drawn freehand. Then you can just make up the difference with the pencil, you know. And I was rather impressed by the kind of movement that was in there. Another one. Okay, yeah. A drawing, work closely with all parts of the country. Yeah. Drawing called Panic. Yeah, okay, so I think I have four pastels here from this period. This is one of them. And I'm just drawing, you know. I have no particular point of view. I don't necessarily am not up to anything. I'm just drawing, I'm just working, you know, just creating. It's a smaller pastel. It's a landscape, believe it or not. Okay, we're up to 75, right? There were many of these, and at this point, you know, with these pastels, I think what I was doing, I was not unable to paint. So what I was doing was trying to approximate gesture, and I was aware of that. And the larger pastels were very much about. I wasn't able to paint at the time, so I was approximating, you know, with an eye towards future painting. What should have been another one? Okay. Collages. Yeah, well, collages were an act of creative desperation. I was tired of drawing. I had drawn for 3 years. Pastels, pencil. And I don't know, collages. I'd never done a collage before in my life. And so I started doing collages, and there's no strategy involved. I just had to change gears, so to speak. And this is one of the very early ones from, that says 66, it's not 66, it must be 76. And that's another one. And there's there's a graphite pencil, it's a colored paper gesso, and, you know. And these windows, I was able to see those windows. I didn't know quite what they meant. I was just working, you know, having fun. This is, I refer to this as my Gainsborough collage, because it has that lovely blue and silverish gray kind of thing that Gainsborough was so wonderful at. And so it's cut papers, pencil, and again, gesso. Excuse me. This is, I adore this collage because it's so goddamn, so, I don't know, coarse and rugged and gorgeous. Pencil, I must have gessoed the ground at some point, pull the paper away, and, you know, I guess, gee, it's too late now. Maybe I'll take a moment just to say that when I did walk out of school, I was very much involved with hard edge painting, minimalism, and constructivism, etc. So what's happening here, oddly enough, is that I think the fact that these are squares, they're just squares. There's no authentic reason for them to be squares. I mean, that's what worked. But I had a very long background in constructivist art, very involved with people like Malevich, and there's the American Bergwijn who very eccentric, and I thought he was a great painter, still do. And when I left school, I did a series of paintings which were black, silver, white, green didn't work, so it was a living yellow. And they were very, very beautiful. And so some of this, certainly my unconscious self, or my unconscious greater self, had not dislodged so much of what I had been doing 6-7 years earlier. This is a more poetic collage press. It's almost like a landscape, and I think I saw this. It's blue paper, white paper. Suddenly, doesn't matter. Okay, collage pencil. Okay, this is one of the first paintings that I did since 70. I believe I did this painting perhaps in 76. It really doesn't matter. We're still on course here, right? There's some collage here, and the circles are no surprise to us, right? Roughing things up around the edges, no surprise to us, right? So, I can see now certainly that I'm definitely willing to entertain some different feelings about it, and some different possibilities. I studied printmaking in Kingston for a while, and I did about 3 or 4. He kept the plates, and this is the only one I have, and the only reproduction I have. It's soft brown, and I would take match books, and I would work directly into the ground at a certain point before it became too hard. And I believe there's some Aquitaine in this year, right? And I did 3 or 4 of these, and the brown one is my favorite. And okay. So I started gradually painting more, and this is, it says indeed there. There's no exact sequence to this. The sequence here is only relative. I mean, I wasn't going to give you exact anything. But there's another part to this, and I didn't have a slide of it, right? I call it the Raven. And it's one of my favorite works. Okay, this is I did this work 76. The prior work was 80, but you can handle that, right? Because we're very sophisticated people. This work I did in December 76. It was very cold. I just got in my studio, so I wanted to work in my studio. And so this is pastel and pencil. And lodged in this one particular drawing is a wonderful vocabulary of shapes and forms, all very loosely felt and certainly not premeditated. But this is one of my all-time favorite pieces of work. And then I did this drawing shortly thereafter. And both of these works I simply cared for them very much, and put them away. This is an early painting on paper too, and it's one of my favorites, and I don't know why I like it so much. Because it has circles, well that's not enough. It's just one of my favorite pieces of work. And like I said, I don't know why, and I loved it very much, and I put it away. And same word period, same time slot. Acrylic on paper, right? All blue. It's actually blue, the colors. The slide is same period, Those of you who know anything about psychology, humor, and anything material, I'm sure no problem with this. I didn't pursue this particular work as is. It's simply, that's the way it fell down, okay? Same period, acrylic on paper, arches if you're interested. Okay, someone gave me a couple of yards of Belgian linen. And, Belgian linen, sweet stuff. And so I did this little painting, which I still have. And, yeah. This was a collage over a print which didn't work out, so I rather like that sea. The blue of this failed print reminded me of the sea, or beneath the sea, which is good, and I decided to try to take advantage of that feeling by working over it. And I still like the piece very much. I wasn't going to show it to you, I guess. Okay, I guess I'm painting more now, or I'm certainly trying to paint more. This is my Venus painting. And what we have here is acrylic on canvas. This is approximately, trying to do with this painting. This is approximately 35 by 40. There's sand in the painting, and there's collage in the painting, and I really love this painting very much. The black and white bit, this painting is probably upside down, but it really doesn't matter. When I started painting, I certainly approached painting differently than I had it before. And I chose the simplest denominators by which to approach painting, which for me was black, white, and subsequent gray. And so I was very pleased with how this felt and how this came out. So, okay, this is sequential to the previous two paintings. I was very pleased with this painting because I really felt that I had come to terms with quote-unquote gestures in the brush and all that. And there were only 3 colors here again. And I fell into this groove about making, 3 colors. Why should one need more than 3 colors? I'm not that dogmatic anymore, certainly. And but I was very pleased with the brushwork, the drawing, the underpainting, the whole bit. This is a drawing from being in Germany. I had my friend York. His parents owned 2 huge apartment buildings in Forsyth. And I had a nice 2-room deal upstairs, and there was a mirror there, and a bed and a window. And I said, hey, look, if I draw it, right? There wasn't any room to paint. So this is one of a dozen or so drawings I did manage to do in that period. And that was 71, or should be 71, 72, okay. And that's me. A straight collage, just working, feeling, like that. Charcoal, paper, bits of paint here and there, rather cubist. Oh yeah, sure, rock and all that, right? Oh yeah, okay, it's okay. I was always very fascinated by sculpture. I always wanted to be, there was always a part of me that I wanted to be a sculptor. These were ideas that I had back to the African period, shall we call it, for wall sculptures. And you see those little tangential characters would only approximate, and then this horizon, this above and below thing, kind of like a yin and yang thing, and they're all possibilities, but they're, oh yeah, painting. Well, there are times when you paint, you paint. And I had a process which I call painting down. It basically meant that I was approaching for a long period of time, I was approaching painting with preconceived ideas. And if it didn't work out, I would take the next best possibility. That's what I call painting down, or painting below the original expectations. Well, this is one of the paintings which worked out very nicely, and so what? What do we have here? Okay, my 3 colors, pen and paper, acrylic, and yeah. Acrylic on paper, well, I think we're certainly talking about 70 at this point. There's a series of these. I did about 10, 12 of them. I was in a groove, right? And they were black acrylic on paper. And the faint, okay, it's upside, no, it's not upside down. It doesn't really matter, it's okay, it still works fine. The inscription, there appears to be an inscription in the lower part of the picture. That's actually a collaged section, and then I quickly gestured over it or wrote something over it. Same series, okay. What happened here, which is certainly legitimate, is that 90% of one of these pens on paper I didn't care for, so I kept the 10%. Okay. Yeah. Same period. And, same period. My objectives were certainly no different than the others. I was trying to find out how much range might this have, you see. How far can you do this? And on that note, I threw away a tremendous amount of work because I would do things. Which were skillful, well done, etc., etc. But then my curiosity would take me further. What I realize now is that, unbeknownst to me, many of these decisions were absolutely correct because they didn't have a future, okay? They didn't have a future. They weren't viable. Perhaps you understand that better. Same deal, right? It's a kind of mask in there, a little doorway in there, right? Okay, well, yeah. Well, folks, I tell you, leave it to me, you're running over time. This is a homage to a poet. Shit. Anyway, it's paper, newsprint. Drawing, okay. This is interesting because it actually gets back to that same graphic moment that we saw a while back. But this is more open, as they say, more structural, more constructed. I remember, I was trying to draw a church. I was thinking the cathedral, right? Because I was looking at Monet's cathedral, and I was really rooting on those. And well, I drew the cathedral rather rapidly, for sure, as you might have guessed. I still like cathedrals, though, but I love those paintings. Yeah, okay. Acrylic on paper, and love it. I'm all here, folks. I can only give you so much. I'm not here to set this tableau for you. I'm up there, and I'm pleased I have that. I'm pleased I have this. This is ink and wash on paper. It says 80 on there, not that that's important. Pencil drawing, music room, right? Matisse's music room, right? The music is up upper left corner, and then I didn't want to leave the painters out, so I put a paintbrush on the right-hand side, in the right-hand corridor, right? Yeah, this is an interesting deal here, a piece of work here. 79, it says on it. We're back and forth a few years ago, but it really doesn't matter. Because I don't think that way, so why should it be that way? This drawing, I started this drawing in 78. It hung on the studio wall for a year, and then I had the idea that what I might do is collage into the bloody drawing. And it's wonderful when a piece of work intrigues you for such a long period of time. It could be a year, it could be a few days. And then, because what that means is that the work is talking to you, and you may not even understand the language in which it speaks to you. But it's working, you see. And the artist, or your conscious inability to deal with why it's on the wall, or why it's still hanging there, what are you going to do with it? That's what it's all about. That's what we talk about when we talk about the workings of the imagination. I went back to this piece, this initial drawing a year later, and I collaged a sentiment to it. And I thought that was just simply wonderful. And then a couple of years ago, I realized when I would do work, turn it to a wall, and look at it a year or two later, and I'd say, my, isn't that interesting? That makes sense to something else. So basically what's going on here, what's been going on, is that I would suppress a lot of stuff, you see. But, hey, you can't suppress anything for too long. And this is 79, I finished the drawing in 79. And it broke through there's a 3-year period between this, the feeling of this work, and some earlier works. But anyway, I'm running out of time. Collage, right? Okay. I mean, things like this I can do forever and ever. And I did this one under pressure, and it worked out nicely. And it was a very clever approach to this collage. It's very beautiful. I like it very much. And the one is enough, thank you. Yeah, I didn't photograph this painting, or didn't get photographed very well. The light, I could never get the light to be the way I wanted it to be for this campaign, but I like this painting a great deal. Why? I like the way it feels, I like the way it feels. Another stray painting, I liked it very much, but didn't take long to realize it didn't have a future. Everything's acrylic on canvas, right? I mean, I haven't painted with oil since I left Paris in '63. In the center, there's an inscription called, in the black slide in the middle. There's an inscription, or it's written, "A season in hell." And then, of course, we all know that's after Rimbaud's great poem, "Season in Hell." And I wrote it, I'm sure there was no one reason why I chose to inscribe that in the center of the painting at the moment, at a particular moment. I'm sure there's a lot of reasons. Very small collage. Yeah, it's all here. Okay, a really snappy deal here. Collage, right? Anthony Cairo is a British sculptor. He's terribly good. He's terribly good, and very fond of his work. And Dubuffet, he's just tagging along. Okay, acrylic paper on canvas, right? And that's a very attractive piece of work, but it's a piece of shit too at the same time. Okay, nope. Hey, look, I'm running over time here. Look, you people got places to go, you can go. Drawing, I have the slightest idea. Drawing homage, there's a brush there in the corner, of course. It's a very long period of drawings. Let's run, okay? Kings and Show, 82. Yeah. Kings and Show, 82. Acrylic on paper. Lots of drawing, right? And these things are very poetic and they're very moving, and I adore them. Yeah, right. These are small works, and basically I just sort of attack the center. If you're dead on center, good. If not, you're not. And that's what it's all about, that too. Scene show, acrylic on paper. And you shouldn't be mistaken. There's no white paint in any of these works on paper, you see. It's just the white of the paper. I'm sorry the colors are. There's a wonderful ochre there. Or rather, there's a wonderful trio of color there. Yeah, okay, the greens. Well, these strange greens. I don't know why I use these greens, but I did. And, the gesture is still alive, but I already came to understand that gesture is an aesthetic. The aesthetic of the gesture was short-lived. The gesture had to do something more than just be gesture. One of my favorites, a bit of a collage pencil on paper, and just feeling, hey, that's, just feeling, okay? You get a piece of paper, and, your creative self knows what it can do with certain materials, and you simply start to feel and do it. It's very simple. Okay, these are works that I had scheduled for the Kingston show, which are not surprising if you can make the jump back 20 slides or whatever. That shouldn't be surprising at all. I didn't exhibit these works. They're still in the drawer. I chose not to for some peculiar reasons, which was okay, but I'm glad I had to do this. And this is Susan. What do we got here? Graphics. We've got lead pencil, pastel, gesso, right? Yeah. I love this one. I love this split. I spent quite a bit of time with this split surface. It's quite a popular idea now, but this is the only one that works for. Okay. It's upside down, damn it. Okay, that's cool. That's all right. That's all right. Kingston showed this piece of work is titled Intolerance. It's titled Intolerance. And it's acrylic pencil, bit of gesso, and collaged paper. The overcoat, merely acrylic on Fabiano paper. Okay, Kingston show. It's my Cesar Vallejo. My Cesar Vallejo work. It's a collage. It's a painted ground, very quickly done gesture ground. And then I took the actual page, which we turned in the arm, inserted into the initial ground, and then I took a pencil, bits of paper, and just felt my way the rest of the way. Okay, this is acrylic on Fabiano paper, and this is for Charles Ives. I often choose not to title works. You know, I think a lot of artists get hung up in everything they do, they have the title, you know. And when you mistitle a work, what you actually do, you distract from the actual work. Titles are usually very superficial. They're only, you know, it's like putting the horse in front of the cart, as people say now. And so very often I'm giving you no titles because apparently the better part of my imagination doesn't really, you know, doesn't lend itself to titling things. I'm not a storyteller, obviously. And again, there's no title for this. When I do title piece, it's the correct title. There's no other title for it. Untitled drawing. This painting actually took 2 years to resolve. I did center, I cut into it with a razor blade or something. I made this kind of strange kind of apparition in the center. I set in the wall. I turned it to face one day. I needed a painting, and I figured out how to resolve it. That's why that painting is now. Okay. Okay, we're getting pretty close to the end of this deal. Works on paper, obviously, I guess works on paper. What works on paper are? Works on paper. Works on paper, I have done a lot of work on paper because that's how I could find out things. I didn't know that. You could put X number of sheets of paper beside you and you just simply pull them and you work, you know. And that's a lot of fun working that way. This is gesso pencil on paper. 82. This, the two lozenge kind of figures, or in the right-hand column. I call this Two Sisters, by the way. This doesn't have a title. Okay, things start sharp enough. This is from my Stargazer series. The Stargazer, that series, Stargazer, there's a lot of, the idea of the Stargazer fulfills a lot of, what the Stargazer is probably me, of course. But the Stargazer does more than just gaze at stars, apparently. The Stargazer is a very particular type of person. No one necessarily great or special, but, you know, he is amongst us, you know. Stargazer. Yeah, all right. gonna say anything about this. I just, many of these works are still in my drawer. They never were photographed. I'm sorry. There's a lot of it I would like to show you, but they just aren't photographs. Yeah, sorry. Acrylic on paper. This is much better than it appears, and much, well, that gloss in the left, in the middle character, there shouldn't be that much feedback of reflection light. Collage, charcoal, oil stick, and pencil? Right, that's all of it. Okay, yeah. 82, 83, yeah, right. After Christmas, I started a lot of things. The show that I wanted to do last year at the Kingston Artist Group, I mean, just to make things simple and clear, I was not able to mount the show. The show that I did at the Kingston Artist Group I was very satisfied with, but that was not the show that I wanted to do because it wasn't necessarily what I was feeling. So what's been going down is that I've been getting, a lot of things have started to converge. Last summer in particular, I could feel it. Suddenly there would be no small celebration of and there was no longer conflict between the fact of why I cared for my personal things would be deplored. Okay. So that's beginning to happen, Not even consciously, logically do I feel these things, this convergence of what for me had been different parts. Things had really been working out for me without my even knowing it. Yeah, 2060. Oil stick, gesso, and what else? And that's it. Charcoal, maybe a bit of charcoal, I'm not sure. It strikes me now as being an embalmment, you see. You see these movies, these movies about England or wherever, and then these guys, you see, they're charging the fort, right? The fort's made of stone, right? And these guys rig up these kind of things, to charge. The idea is that your guys collect them. That's the way it strikes me. Okay, same period. I liked it, so I kept it, but I knew I had to, move on. The two wasn't going to work. Right. Okay. Stargazer or hangman or keyhole, suit yourself. You go for it. There's no one or two possibilities here. Stargazer again, gesso, graphite. Sorry, it's so pale. It's much stronger. Graphite, chalk, gesso, oil stick, Stargazer. Okay, we're in the Kingston show this year, I guess. Yeah, looks that way. Collaged aspect up top, and acrylic, right? And oil stick. Painting, there were 5 or 6 of these paintings. Some I threw away, one sold. This one I have left. There's another one. This other one is photographed, and it's called red painting. And there's some collage. The white is there. It's 45 by 60, I believe. Something like that. Okay, these are the shooting of the Kingston show didn't go necessarily well, but I took the best of what the photographer had to give me, and many of the shots, subsequent shots, they're how do you say, gallery shots. Red painting. I'm sorry I have a better shot, a frontal shot of Van Gogh's ear, which is the white and black painting. There's a very intriguing story about that painting. And 2 more works in glass. Okay, better view of red painting and the Van Gogh painting. The Van Gogh painting is called, it's called Van Gogh's Ear, Suicided by Society. And then the subtitle to that title is called A Compassion Painting. Okay, and yeah, right, so. Night Flower to the right, first right. Kinky Reggae, second from the right. Classic American Terrorist, third from the right. And hardly discernible is Wind Harp, the last one going. Right? Okay, there's a Wind Harp, Classic American Terrorist, Collage, Wind Harp, oil stick and acrylic, Classic American Terrorist, collage, oil stick, paint, Kinky Reggae, collage, oil stick, paint. Nightfly. This trio of paintings, these two, they actually belong in part to the other smaller painting that you saw a while ago, but they couldn't chain them together. But anyway, collage, acrylic, oil stick. The painting to the left has this little stick affixed to the right-hand portion of the basic canvas. Yeah. Well, okay. This is the. There was one. This painting is called. This painting is for. It's an anti-war, anti-nude piece, but the title of the painting is called "For Father Daniel Berrigan," because some good friends had taken me to the theater about 4 nights earlier, and I was very impressed with the film about Berrigan's actions and the subsequent trial, which, you know, we don't know something about. So that's, I dare not, well, there shouldn't be any more. That should be enough. Well, that's it. There might have been a better sequence. There might have been a tighter sequence. There were a lot of figure stuff that I wish I could have shown you, but they weren't available, so I'm sorry. So that's pretty much it. And
I have to run. Thank you very much. It was very exciting.
Oh, yeah. Okay, thanks for coming. I don't know what to say. I mean, that's... Okay, thank you.
I'll take that mic from you.
Yeah, the flat, right.